I'm failing to see why, if she doesn't say anything that the state's intending to introduce after the detective makes those representations to her, then why are we showing it at all to the jury?
Well, prior to him doing that, she makes several statements that are inculpatory.
Okay, well that's different.
And she makes denials in situations where a person, the state would suggest to the jury that it's innocent, would not make, and obviously are inculpatory because they're false, and obviously false, and be proven false.
So she does make statements to the detective after he tells her all these things about prison and her sentence. Is that what you're telling me?
I'd have to ask Mr. Wardy. I reviewed more of the redactions than I did her responses once that started.
Well, she, like I said, she denies certain facts after that.
I know, but that in and of itself, honestly, that's hearsay, honestly. Only admissions or statements against interest come in a interview.
Well, it is against her interest if they're going to get on the stand, put Ramos on the stand and say, at this point she's lying, right? And they're going to present to the jury that she lied about X, Y, Z things throughout the interview. So that all of those statements are against her interest.
Okay, but again, let's just remove anything that happens before Detective Ramos makes those statements to her about the potential sentence or what's going to happen to her. That's different. Okay, we're only talking about anything she may have said because that's the only context that would be part of this discussion. I mean, it seems to me the easiest thing to do would just nothing that Detective Ramos says or anything she says afterwards comes in. It'd be the easiest way.
So that would be cutting the interview short, Judge.
So what? That happens all the time.
Right, but you're cutting the interview, you're showing half the jury, half the
I know, but the rule of completeness is only necessary to bring in any other statements if it needs to give context to something. If the original statement from Ramos regarding the sentence and how life in prison is going to be, if the jury never hears that, then they don't need to hear the context of her responses. They don't need to hear it. So, because that's the only reason that the rule of completeness would be applicable here.
Well, Judge, so what you're saying is that the statements up front, the ones before they start to threaten and they start to tell these different things, that those statements, and they're all interwoven, so it's not like it's a clean break, as though at one point in time they made these statements and she's already said everything that she needs to say, the state wants to introduce. It's interwoven. There's some time that goes by, they start to threaten, they start to talk about the different punishments, more interviews. More statements from the detectives, more interviews. So it's hard to just cut it off at one particular point. Like you said, if this was an issue that the state saw, this is a motion that the state should have filed prior to the trial. We filed our motion to suppress last year, December, on this issue. And I was under the understanding that at 1:22, that's when the interrogation cuts off, because that is when she invokes. So outside of that, like right now, without actually going through line by line, minute by minute, and not being able to tell you, this is when they say this is when she says that, it is just piecemeal. And if the state wants it out, they should have done it beforehand. Not like right in the middle of trial, right before the detective gets on the stand, in the middle of his testimony.
I have been, since the first trial, discussing potential redactions with them and have gotten no response. I have brought this up. No, I can show emails where I have brought it up multiple times before the first trial, and then I readdressed it before this trial where I proposed and went line by line and sent them a highlighted version of what I believed should come out, including stopping it early. So I definitely have been waiting for their response and their communication. It has included coming into this trial where I've, again, asked a couple of times that we needed to address this, or we'd have to bring it in front of the judge.
Well, Ms. Doherty, then you should have brought it before the judge. If you weren't getting anywhere, you should have filed a motion in limine to address this. Because again, there's no way for me to know until I sit down and watch that video. There's no way for me to know the context. I have no way of knowing. And I'm not going to do it in the middle of trial. I'm not. So I really don't know what else I can tell you all. It doesn't seem to me, and I repeat this, if there's no admissible evidence, meaning inculpatory statements that she makes after, or anything you're going to use against her, after Detective Ramos makes his statements to her, I don't think any of that should come in at all. At all. It's not relevant.
Well, just in a review of it, apparently there is some things that she does say after he starts.
That you wish to use.
Yes.
Against
that,
her.
Yes, that we would suggest her very incriminating.
Okay. So then at this point, I'm inclined just to give a limited instruction. Just remind the jury that anything Detective Ramos says, his opinions are just that. They're not necessary. They're not true. They're not to take it as true. So at this point, I don't know what else to do other than that. Okay? And just while we're talking about it, assuming that it comes in, I give the limiting instruction. I don't want anybody getting up in front of this jury and in cross-examination or closing argument or direct or whatever it may be, and ask a witness or have the defendant testify, and are you in fact facing life in prison? No one's going to ask that question or testify to that. The only reason this is coming in is to purportedly show the context of Ms. Andrews' responses, and that's the only way it's going to be argued in front of the jury.
And just to be clear, I do not intend to ask Detective Ramos, a question that would give the jury the impression that what he's saying or what Detective Campbell is saying is true, that she's actually going to face life in prison.
Okay.
Right? But the statements that he makes, not just the life in prison, but some of these other statements, I should have the ability to cross-examine him on the effect that that would have had on Ms. Andrews at the time.
Well, he can't testify to what's in her state of mind. You can question him about what he said to her, but he can't guess what effect that had on her.
So, and it's not just the effect it has on her. It also goes to our ability to cross, the wide latitude that we do have to cross on motive, bias, and credibility of any witness, especially of the detective in this case.
Well, we'll just have to play it question by question, okay? Okay.
Your Honor, unfortunately, there is one other matter. Late last night, I became aware of the fact that several of the defense witnesses have been communicating with each other and watching the trial after the rule was invoked by the defense. So I am requesting of this court, or at least notifying this court that that's occurring, and requesting the witnesses be ordered again to stop communicating with each other and stop watching this televised broadcast.
Could you say which witnesses you're referring to?
Miss Enright, Miss Lyle, and Miss Gathright or Nevea.
We're not calling the big effort.
Okay, well, Miss Enright and Miss Lyle have been communicating with each other, have been communicating with the co-defendant, giving daily updates up to yesterday as to what's happening in this trial, and speaking about their meeting together via Zoom, whether that's the truth or not, with the defense attorneys this weekend at the same time. So I'm not sure if that's accurate, but of course if they are going to be testifying, I would like now for them to be instructed again to not be watching the trial if it's being broadcast. I'd like to address it.
I just want to parse that out. I want to make sure that we're saying what's accurate. You're saying that somebody spoke to a co-defendant. Which co-defendant are you referring to?
Sean Gathright.
All right, so I have no control over whether they speak to Sean Gathright. I can tell them not to do that, but I have no control over that. And I did not know that was happening. You also said that there was a Zoom. You're talking about this coming weekend or the one before?
This past weekend. this past weekend, they indicated that they were meeting with you, your office, the defense, about their testimony for witness preps together on Zoom.
What I'm asking is, who is the they? Who was meeting with us this weekend?
I presume the callers, or at least the person on the other end of the phone. So Mrs. Enright and Miss Lyle, the co-defendant's mother, who were listed.
All right, so I don't recall meeting with them over Zoom, but if I did, there is no problem with us preparing our witnesses for trial the same way that the state prepares their witnesses for trial. The same way that the state talks to their witnesses outside, whether they're grouped together, whether they're separate. They spoke to witnesses. We speak to witnesses before trial. The court will give an instruction, a jury instruction at the end of the trial, which says that it is not improper for the attorneys to talk to the witnesses.
Well,
So-
that is true.
It's improper for them to be prepped together on what their testimony is going to be, and it's improper that the defense invoked the rule of sequestration and that those witnesses have been watching the trial ever since. So as we stepped out to instruct our witnesses, I'm just asking that the same be done and that the state be permitted to cross on that issue, which is not outside of the scope of relevant material cross-examination.
Did you prep the witnesses together?
No. And the only thing I would agree with is, of course, once the rule is invoked, they should not be, I guess, paying attention to the trial, watching the trial. But I have no control of that.
I know. I know you don't. I'm assuming you told them, right? The rule of sequestration has been invoked?
I know particularly, I told Sean Gattaway's mother, Ms. Locke. We told her.
So I tell you what, before these witnesses testify, I will allow, out of the presence of the jury, state you can question them on exactly what their knowledge is, who they had conversations with, what the discussion was, and then that way you'll know. And then if you deem it necessary, you can use it in cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
I would like the same opportunity for Detective Ramos. I want to know if he's watching the portion of the trial before he took the stand.
Okay. Yeah, go Freeman, ask him. Are we ready to go otherwise?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Oh, yes, and there's a, when Detective Ramos begins, I think we're getting into the testimony regarding the Uber driver.
The first question I'll ask is we were talking about the Uber driver is what his name is, and we do not want that broadcast. And then I will just refer to him as the Uber driver.
Okay, very good, very good.
The last thing I'll say is we really got to be careful about phone numbers. So I'll tell you right now, there's been phone numbers that people have had to change.
Well, listen, here's the thing. There are material facts in this case regarding phone numbers and emails and physical addresses. And this is a public court, and these are material facts, and they're part of the record. And I'm not going to put the burden on the media to scrub out every single phone number and every single email for particularly material facts. Now, someone like the Uber driver who's got no connection to this case or whatever, I'm comfortable with his identity not being disclosed. So, if they are individuals with addresses and emails and phone numbers that are of material relevance to this case, I'm not going to order that they be scrubbed.
So there are people making threats to individuals whose phone numbers have been shown. And I'm not putting it on the media. I would just ask if the state knows that they're going to introduce or publish information on the screen that the media is watching, that at least we somehow talk about that beforehand, and we can either put a sticky over the number or something. It's not like they're showing the number and they're connecting it to some piece of evidence. It's just on the screen.
Okay, well, you guys have to make specific objections and then let me know ahead of time. Okay, I'm not just going to have a general blanket rule that the media can't broadcast what's happening in here. This is a public forum. Anybody in the public can come in here and watch this trial and see the evidence. So if there is specific confidential information that you don't want broadcast, you need to identify it, and we need to discuss it. But specifically with regards to the name of the Uber driver, I am going to allow the state to refer to him as the Uber driver. There's really no reason that person's identity needs to be disclosed during the course of the trial. Okay.
Judge, if I could ask, Detective Ramos is our last witness, and assuming we finish him in the next 2 hours, What is the defendant's lineup of witnesses, so we know for preparation, since we've accommodated them throughout this trial and lists?
We don't have a problem doing that. We did that the other day. But you're saying your director's going to be 2 hours, or you're talking about?
We still have probably a couple of hours, yes.
So yeah, I mean, this afternoon, we have witnesses that will be here at 1. That is.
So we have Joel Jordan, Jakayla, I'm not sure, Robinson, for sure, and
Robert Howard. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. we have Thomas Pullen.
I'm sorry,
Thomas Pullen, our cell phone expert.
Now, can I ask about Mr. Pullen? We were provided with cell phone tracking by him involving the defendant's phone. In a deposition a couple of months ago, he told us that he's been asked to do the co-defendant's phones, and we've been asking for that all the way up to the day the trial started. Counsel's one response to Ms. Doherty was she was repeating herself, and that it's not important to him, and if it gets excluded, it gets excluded. So I don't know at this point, are you using anything in addition to what we've been provided? If so, I'd like to have it for his cross-examination.
It's not one response. It was several emails back and forth, and Ms. Doherty and I were on Zoom together discussing this issue, or on the phone, one of the two. So that's a misrepresentation. In addition to that, there are maps that he said he would create for the other individuals. We've done like timing maps, so they show the trajectory of where they were at certain particular points in time during the course of this conspiracy. He didn't create the maps, and so we're not using the maps. So whatever he's testifying to comes from the evidence. It comes from the cell phone extractions.
I know, but if it's an expert opinion, specifically, is he going to testify to anything regarding the cell phones of the co-defendants?
Yes, but he doesn't have to provide a map for that.
I'm not saying that. They're saying that they asked you about that and that you didn't respond.
I just said that's not true, and he will tell you that. He didn't say that I did not respond. He said I responded one time. That's not true. I responded a few times back and forth. That conversation was just about whether I was going to produce these interactive maps. And I told him I don't have them.
Did you depose him?
I did, Your Honor, and I asked him if he had developed any further opinions or other work to let us know so we could take a deposition of him. And I reserved the right to continue the deposition.
And
So
were you
now-
ever notified after the deposition that their expert was now going to offer opinions as to the cell phone data of the co-defendants?
No,
Until today,
no,
the middle of trial.
yes.
Well-
There's a difference between him offering an opinion.
Listen, we're not going to, listen, we got to get going. We'll cross that bridge at a later date. State, you need to file whatever appropriate motion you deem necessary regarding
Yes, Your
that.
Honor. Your Honor, one other thing before we bring the jury in.
Yep.
If I understand counsel right, because they invoked the rule of sequestration, they have only advised one of their witnesses about the rule?
I don't know.
Is that correct, counsel?
That's correct.
Okay, so I would ask that they, as they're obligated to do when they invoke the rule, advise all of your witnesses, please, not to view what's
Unnecessary,
on court TV.
the way that counsel is speaking to defense, though, it's been happening since day one.
But
It's
Ms.
very
White,
unnecessary,
I know,
Your
but
Honor.
here, Ms. White, this is the problem. You invoked the rule of sequestration.
I understand that.
Okay, I'm making a statement, I'm not looking for responses, okay? You invoked the rule of sequestration. That means all witnesses, it's incumbent upon the lawyers, as the professionals that they are, to tell all of their witnesses as well. You're not to be discussing the case, you're not to be watching it on court TV, and apparently that didn't happen, right? Didn't happen. Inexcusable.
Well, Your Honor,
Inexcusable.
if I may respond, we are professionals, just like every other attorney in this courtroom. The bigger point that I was making is that the way that Mr. Harmon has been speaking to this side of the table is unprofessional, it's disrespectful. He's done it in front of the jury as well, and there has not been any attempt by the court to intervene in that. So I want to make sure that it's on the record that it's inappropriate. The rising tone is unnecessary, and it's disrespectful, and it's inappropriate.
Ms. White, everything that's happened in this trial is on the record. Everything's been videotaped. The conduct of everybody involved.
Right.
Okay? And the failure of the defense to tell their own witnesses not to talk about the case is inexcusable. And that's a matter of record.
Well, also,
we don't want to discuss it any further. I don't.
what doesn't
We're
add
done.
to the record is that they've had witnesses outside the courtroom discussing the case with each other, talking about the case, the prosecutors themselves.
Well, you should have brought it to my attention.
I'm doing it now because it's been an issue. They're apparently saying it's an issue for us, and they're doing it themselves.
Okay, let's bring in Detective Ramos. Ask him if he's been watching court TV about this case, and then we'll get going. Yes. Yeah. Hello, good morning, Detective. You remain under oath, so there was an issue that was raised, or an allegation, that you've been watching this trial on TV. Is that accurate?
No.
Okay. Any questions?
But I didn't allege that. I just wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, you did allege it.
I didn't allege it.
Oh,
All
so,
I asked-
wait. So you told me that you believed you've been watching this on court TV, and now you're backtracking and saying, well, I didn't make the allegation.
I
Pardon
did
me?
not say that I believe he's watching it. I don't know what he does in his spare time.
Okay.
They brought up the issue. I said I would like the opportunity to ask Detective Ramos the same question. I didn't allege that he was doing anything.
Okay, so you just said no. Any questions?
No, I mean, you've asked the question. I thought I was going to ask the question, but he said no, that's it. I mean, it's...
Okay, very good. Let's go. All right.
All rise. All jurors are in good.
All right, very good. Welcome back, members of the jury. We are ready to proceed. You may continue.
Thank you, Judge. Detective Ramos, we were talking about the Airbnb on Gazebo Lane in Tampa, Florida. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
And I had asked you about the vehicle that was shown on, June 23rd of 2024 that you could clearly see in the Ring video, and you could see the defendant along with others walking to it and carrying out bags to that vehicle. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Was there volume? First of all, did you identify who was the driver of that vehicle?
I did.
And who was the driver? Was it an Uber?
Yes.
And who was the Uber driver?
Sathan Wachamari?
Okay. And from now on, we'll refer to him as the Uber driver, okay?
Yes.
I'm going to show you, again, State's Exhibit, let's see, 61. Was there volume on that Airbnb video?
Yes, ma'am.
Does it appear that she is talking to somebody that is already inside?
There was a male voice that appeared to be coming from inside, yes.
And could you also hear her knocking?
Yes.
And does she say something when she first gets up there?
Yes.
During the course of your investigation, did you come to learn that there was a locking mechanism with the Airbnb?
Yes.
And was there a code that was provided to the Airbnb user that they could use to access that door?
Correct.
And again, did you interview the Airbnb owner, Anthony Alava?
I did.
Okay. And did he provide that information to you?
Yes.
During the course of your investigation, did you have assistance with other detectives that helped to gather information early on when you were investigating this case?
Yes.
Was there a locking log that was provided to you by Mr. Alava?
The locking log was sent to another detective and then forwarded to me. Originally, I missed that log.
When did you finally receive a copy of the locking log?
Approximately a month or two ago.
And I'm sorry, when did you say that you received a copy of that?
I can't recall, but it was within the last few months. It was more recent. It wasn't at the time of the original investigation in July of 2024.
So you did not have the benefit of that when you first were analyzing this video?
No.
Okay. And at some point, you said that you had seen a vehicle pull up, is that correct?
Correct.
Did you hear anything that was being said to that person in the vehicle?
Yes, I heard what I understood to be the phrase, are you Nick? And then, do you have bags? Something along those lines. It was chatter that made me believe that that vehicle and that person at the driver's seat was an Uber driver or a hired driver.
So I know the volume isn't very loud here, but you said that you were able to hear some of that conversation. Is that correct?
Yes, when co-defendant Isaiah Chance walks up to the driver door and he has it cracked open, there is some chatter. You kind of listen closely, but that's what I made out of the chatter.
And I asked you about that log that you said that you previously did not look at. Who did it first go to when it went to the Tampa Police Department from Anthony Alava?
I believe Anthony Alava sent an email to Detective Nick McGill and my Sergeant Rachel Tolnick.
And sir, I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification, States Exhibit 66. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And is that please look at all the pages, is that the copy of the lock log that was provided to you by Mr. Alava?
In that email, correct.
Then at this time, we'd introduce into evidence States Exhibit 66.
Any objection?
No objection.
Admitted.
So I want to go to, it has the date and time when the lock is activated and then unlocked. Is that correct?
Correct.
And so let's go to June 22nd of 2024. Just want to make sure that's the right. When is it first shown as being locked by a thumb turn?
The first time it shows locked by a thumb turn is 7:55 p.m.
Okay. And does this show whether or not it is by somebody unlocking the thumb turn, as opposed to when somebody is putting in a code?
There is a differentiation between code and locking, yes.
Okay. And so the first one is 7:59, is that correct?
7:55.
And then what is the, I'm sorry, we're going down here, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
And-
It works up,
Works from
Yeah.
reverse, is that correct?
yes.
So when is the first entry of when it, for June 22nd of 2024, when it is unlocked?
For pertinent to this rental, it's 7:55 p.m.
And going back to when that video that we just watched where the defendant is at that door and she is knocking, and then a few seconds later where she is actually goes in, can you tell us where in reference to time-wise did that happen?
So on this log, we don't have the benefit of knowing the second marker when that was unlocked by an access code, but it is at 7:55. That video starts at 7:55:36. So there's a 36-second buffer from when this log would have activated and when we see her on video knocking.
So we have it being unlocked 7:55 p.m., is that correct?
Correct.
And then it's locked 7:55.
Yeah, yes, presumably unlocked and locked right away.
And are you aware whether or not that lock has an just automatically locks?
It does.
And then shortly thereafter, like a minute, it shows unlocked again?
Yes.
And then locked again, is that correct?
Correct.
And then for June 22nd, after their arrival time, how many more times on that date is the front door locked and unlocked?
For June 22nd, there's only one other lock and locking sequence, and it happens at 7:59. After that, there's no other locking or unlocking sequences for the rest of the evening.
And do those two times, coordinate with the times where you first see her knocking at the door and then at the second time when she's actually allowed in?
Yes, so 7:55 would be when she's knocking at the door, and then 7:56 would be when she actually walks in. There was no video activation. It's the only locking sequence on the logs that doesn't have a corresponding video for 7:59. We're unsure of what that meant.
So just like from the video footage, that Ring camera video footage, there is no other video footage that we see other than those two that are also reflected in the locking and unlocking of the door of Miss Andrews, the defendant, one knocking and then a few moments later coming back and actually walking through the door. Is that correct?
Correct.
Counsel is testifying.
Sustain, rephrased.
Does this locking log, does that coordinate with the other video evidence in the case?
Yes.
Is there any other video of anyone, not just the defendant, but of Rashad Murphy or any of the co-defendants going through that front door?
No.
And then I'm going to show you June 23rd, is that correct?
Correct.
And again, is it working reverse all the way up?
Yes, so you start from the bottom at 2:09 p.m. is the first activation on the 23rd.
Okay, and here, actually, let me go all the way till we hit the June 22nd in again. Starting at down here, the earliest time, what time is it and what does it reflect?
11:01 a.m., and it reflects access code added by Leanne Cox.
Which is different than unlocked by thumb turn, is that correct?
Correct.
And then when is the next entries?
The first locking sequence on the actual lock is at 2:09 p.m. on June 23rd, 2024.
And what is designated, what type of, is it unlocked or access code?
Unlocked by thumb turn and then immediately locked by auto lock delay.
And then 209,
Unlocked by thumb turn and then locked by thumb turn.
and again, there isn't a distinction here in a matter of seconds, is that correct?
Yes, we have 60 seconds to work with here.
And then what is the next entry when it is, the door is opened?
2:58 p.m.
And what is it, how is it being opened?
Unlocked by thumb turn.
Okay. And then what about up here?
2:58 p.m. again.
And again, did you then use this log to compare to the video footage that we have from June 23rd of 2024?
After I got the log, I did compare it to the ring activations, and all of those sequences have corresponding ring video footage with them.
And then I'm going to go for June 23rd. It continues, is that correct?
Correct.
And when is the next time?
3:04 p.m.,
And then the next time?
3:05 p.m., 3:11,
And the final time?
3:12, 3:13.
Again, does that coordinate with the ring video footage that you received from Mr. Alava?
All of those sequences have corresponding ring footage, yes, ma'am.
We've already introduced into evidence photographs 35A and B. I'm going to show specifically 35B. What is that?
Co-defendant Isaiah Chance at the ring, by the ring camera?
And you personally met and interviewed Mr. Chance?
Correct.
And is that a known photo of him?
It is.
35A for the record? B, what is that?
Co-defendant Sean Gaithright, as captured by the ring camera?
Still photo from that ring photo?
Yes.
Ring video footage? 36A, no photograph of him?
A prior booking photograph for co-defendant Sean Gaithright, yes.
And he was interviewed by other members of the Tampa Police Department?
Correct.
I'm going to show you what's in evidence, States Exhibit 61A, I'm sorry, 61B5. What's that?
Co-defendant Davion Murphy is captured by the ring camera.
I'll show you 61B1. And who is that?
Defendant Alicia Andrews is captured by the ring camera.
I think I asked you yesterday, who was the only defendant who was not captured on the ring video footage in Tampa?
Co-defendant Rashad Murphy.
Okay. Did you become aware of some additional evidence that led you to Rashad Murphy being at the Airbnb?
Yes.
And what was that?
The Uber driver that drove him to Jacksonville from the Airbnb.
When did you interview the Uber driver?
The first time I spoke to him was over the phone sometime in July, and then I had an in-person interview early August.
Did you get some evidence from the Uber driver? Did he actually provide you with the route that he had taken?
Yes. The first time we spoke over the phone, he sent me a screenshot of how the ride would appear on his app, which has a kind of a map view and then a total of how much was paid for the ride. And then I subpoenaed Uber for the rest of the details.
And you said the first interview that you had of the Uber driver was through the phone, is that correct?
Correct.
And did you send him anything on the phone?
Yes, I sent him photographs from Sean Gaithwright's residential cameras that showed 3 of the defendants arriving there in Jacksonville, and asked him if these were the same 3 people that he picked up at the Airbnb in Tampa.
Did you also send him a photograph of him at the Airbnb?
Yes,
And did he confirm that that indeed was him?
yes,
And I'm going to show you what's already been introduced into evidence, State's Exhibit 92A. Is this a screenshot from the video cameras that are at Sean Gaithwright's home in Jacksonville, Florida?
yes,
And is this a copy of a screenshot that you sent him?
yes.
And you did that initially on the phone, is that correct?
Initially on the phone, yes.
And when was your initial phone interview with the Uber driver?
I can't recall the exact date, but it was sometime in July 2024.
Okay. And then did you also meet with him in person so that you could have him sign and date other still images that you received from that video footage at Sean Gaithwright's home?
Yes.
And when was the time frame of the video footage that you collected from Sean Gaithwright's home on June 23rd of 2024?
I'm sorry, when the video is recording that specific image?
Yes, that these still shots were created from.
Yes, so that footage is from approximately 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on June 23rd, 2024.
And the Uber driver, when he sent you the documentation of the Uber trip, did it show the path that they had taken from the Airbnb here in Tampa to the residence of Sean Gaithwright in Jacksonville?
Yes, it did.
I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification, States Exhibit 92B through C, and also 70A through K. So I'm going to have you look at 70A through K just for identification. Are those copies of the text messaging that you had sent to the Uber driver?
Yes.
And specifically 70K, that is a copy of the trip that he had sent to you via text message.
Correct.
And then 92B through D, are those the other screenshots that you showed to the Uber driver?
Correct.
Your Honor, at this time, we'd introduce only 70K as well as States Exhibit 92B through D.
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, so 70K and 92,
B through D, A is already in.
okay, very good, admitted.
Detective, what is in 92B?
This is a printout of footage from Sean Gaithwright's house from June 23rd upon their arrival, and it was signed by the Uber driver and dated when we met in person, just as an acknowledgement that what he told me.
Okay. And how many people did the Uber driver give a ride to?
He said he picked up 3 people at the Airbnb in Tampa.
And are 2 of them reflected, and is that what you were having him identify in States 92B?
Yes, that those 2 people in this photo were 2 out of the 3 that he picked up.
And then 92D?
Yes, this is a picture of co-defendant Rashad Murphy, same thing.
And then 92C?
Yes, this one has defendant Alicia Andrews and co-defendant Rashad Murphy, and he acknowledged that as well.
Then 70K,
Yeah, this was the screenshot from his Uber app that he sent me, confirming the details of that ride.
I'm going to ask you about this time down here, 3 hours and 3 hours and 25 minutes. Does that correspond time-wise with the time it takes to leave, and the video footage showing them leaving from the Airbnb here in Tampa on June 23rd of 2024, and correspond with the time it took to get to Sean Gathwright's house where they're seen on the video footage in Jacksonville?
Yes, ma'am.
Show you it's already into evidence, State's Exhibit 37A. Who is that?
Co-defendant Rashad Murphy.
And 37B, what two photographs are contained in 37B?
So this is a side-by-side. On the left side of the screen, we have footage from co-defendant Sean Gathwright's residential cameras being compared to a photograph taken when co-defendant Rashad Murphy was arrested by Gwinnett County several days later.
And did you obtain a search warrant to get the security video footage from Sean Gathwright's home in Jacksonville, Florida?
Yes, I did.
When did you get that search warrant?
I'd have to look at the report for the exact date.
Would that help refresh your recollection?
Yes, please. July 8th, 2024.
And that residence of Sean Gathwright, that is 13751 Victoria Lakes Drive, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Where's that located?
In Jacksonville,
What county?
Duval.
Did you have to get the assistance of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office to assist in executing that search warrant?
Specifically for the camera footage, no, because it's served directly to Vivint as a remote offsite. So I obtained the search warrant in Hillsborough County and electronically delivered it to Vivint.
Okay. And did we obtain, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 79 and 98. Was there video footage that was collected from that Vivint security camera of Sean Gathwright's?
Yes.
And after you received them via search warrant, how were the videos presented to you?
They were delivered electronically.
And could you tell the timestamp of each particular video?
Yes, so the video, the name of the file, these are digital electronic files. The name of the file is the date and timestamp of the beginning of that video. So in reverse order, so year, month, day, and then the exact time that that specific video starts.
And I'm going to show, or let me show you State's Exhibit 79 and 98. Are these videos, one containing a composite of all the videos together, as well as a DVD containing all of the relevant videos individually?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, we'd introduce into evidence State's Exhibit 79 and 98.
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, admitted.
Detective, before I ask you some questions, were there two time periods that you were able to locate on this video footage of Sean Gathwright's residence that were pertinent to this investigation?
Yes.
What was the first time period that you looked at?
I looked at footage from before the group came down from Jacksonville in the afternoon hours of Saturday the 22nd, and then the second time period was their arrival when they got back from Tampa in the late afternoon of Sunday the 23rd.
What was the date of when you first were looking at? What was the date you were looking at?
It was Saturday the 22nd.
That's the Saturday before the victim was killed, is that correct?
Yes,
And then the second date that you were looking at,
Sunday the 23rd.
and that is when they are being dropped off by the Uber driver?
Correct.
And Detective, the time stamp is not reflected on this, is that correct?
No, it would be on the name of the file of this specific clip. So similar to the Ring, they're short activations, motion sense.
But this is occurring on June 22nd of 2024?
Yes, this is Isaiah Chance's arrival at Sean Gaithwright's house in the early hours of the afternoon of Saturday, June 22nd.
This a different camera view?
Yes,
Still on June 22nd of 2024?
correct.
And each of these small video clips, was the name of the file of the video clip, did it include the date and time of the video itself?
Yes.
And approximately what is the time range when we're looking at him at Sean Gaithwright's house on June 22nd of 2024?
Approximately 2 p.m. On the 22nd.
And what is he doing in this picture?
He appears to be moving bags from his registered BMW into the residence at this point.
Again, same time period, but showing different angle camera, is that correct?
Correct.
Again, what is he doing now?
Appears to be pulling out 2 pairs of shoes from his back seat and bringing them into the house.
who do we see now?
Co-defendant Sean Gaithright stepping out of his front door.
What is Mr. Gathright doing now?
He's removing items from his trunk and bringing them inside.
And what trunk is he removing it from?
This is the suspect black Chevy Impala that was used in this homicide.
What does Mr. Gathright have in his hand at that moment?
Cell phone.
Again, reviewing Mr. Gathright's cell phone data and cell site information, did his cell site information put him at his house during this time period?
Correct.
What's he doing now?
Appears to be removing some kind of lighting equipment from his trunk and bringing it inside.
Lighting equipment for photography?
Yes.
So that is not in his vehicle.
It looks like it was taken into the house.
Again, who's appearing now in this video?
Co-defendant Isaiah Chance stepped out and is walking to his BMW.
You describe what's going on now.
At this point, they're starting to bring out bags that they're going to load into the Impala.
What color are the bags that he's bringing out?
A pink one in his left and a blue one in his right.
What's he doing now?
Opening up the front passenger door of his BMW carrying a blanket.
What's happening here?
At this point, co-defendant Isaiah Chance leaves to go pick up defendant Alicia Andrews.
What's in this video?
This is after arriving back from picking up Alicia.
What's going on now?
These appear to be some door-to-door type salesmen, and they apparently talking to Alicia in the front passenger seat there.
Who's that?
Co-defendant Isaiah Chance.
Detective, what's happening now?
Sean Gaithwright and the Apollo had left for a little while. He's returning now, and defendant Alicia Andrews is coming out of the front passenger seat of Isaiah Chance's BMW, and Isaiah Chance is coming out of the rear passenger side of his vehicle.
Where does Miss Andrews go?
She goes into the Impala. It appears the back seat.
Okay, if we now jump to the next day, June 23rd of 2024,
Yes.
and approximately what time?
This is approximately between 6 and 7 p.m. on the 23rd.
And is this the first time you are now seeing Rashad Murphy on video footage?
Correct.
Does he come out of that Uber driver's vehicle?
Yes.
And who are the other two occupants of the Uber driver's vehicle?
Defendant Alicia Andrews and co-defendant Isaiah Chance.
And who's holding that pink duffel bag?
Co-defendant Rashad Murphy.
Is that the same pink duffel bag, or appears to be the same pink duffel bag originally carried out of the house on June 22nd of 2024?
It appears to be.
What do we see now?
Defendant Alicia Andrews and co-defendants Rashad Murphy and Isaiah Chance, around Isaiah Chance's BMW.
And what happens to that pink bag?
It goes back into Sean Gateright's house.
Does that appear to be the same pink bag that Alicia Andrews unloads from the Airbnb into the Uber?
It does appear to be, yes.
And do you capture the time when they finally leave?
Yes.
This time, who is in Isaiah Chance's BMW?
Defendant Alicia Andrews and co-defendant Rashad Murphy. And then co-defendant Isaiah Chance will drive it away.
Was there video footage that was also recovered that showed Isaiah Chance later returning back to Mr. Gathwright's house?
I believe so, yes.
And I'll show you.
Tell you what, it's 10:40. Let's just go ahead and take a quick morning recess, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
5 minutes, we'll be back. All right, thank you.
All rise.